Happy Monday, everybody. BobbyFi, Eric Sheetshaber. We're going to be talking through this NBA 6-game slate. It's a small one, but we've also got some football tonight. We'll be coming back with a football show in about 30 minutes. I did not do well on DraftKings in the football yesterday, but I did do well on FanDuel, so that was nice. But hopefully do a little bit better tonight. Sheets, talk about your weekend, and then we'll jump into the slate.
The NFL was not great for me. I had a sweat in the NBA at the end of the day.
Really?
I got like fifth in the lottery in the
in
the NBA for like 2000 or something. I had like one guy. Everybody ahead of me had 0 PMR. I had one guy with like 24 minutes to get 30 fantasy points in the second half. He ended up getting like 18 or something. And so I'm sometimes very glad that I don't watch the NBA all the time because I see some of these players that I'm betting on, and I'm like, this guy is so bad, like, and here's a guy that I needed to listen. I was very ambitious for him to get what I needed him to get to, but watching him play, I wanted to pull my freaking hair out. Okay, and that guy's name was Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay, so
he's the defensive player of the year. This guy.
Okay, defensive player of the year who plays no defense. Okay, and excuse me, on offense, you know what he does with his big frame? He stands in the freaking corner.
He's a shooter. He shoots on the outside.
He sometimes pick and rolls and disappears. He doesn't look to get any rebounds. Okay, it's like such freaking torture. And then, like I usually have to worry about like the fouling out, and then so I didn't even know how many fouls he had, and then he committed like just an atrocious foul. Okay, and they said, okay, now he's got 4. I'm like, all right, 4. I'm not worried about that. And then next thing you know, he commits another one. He's got 5. And now the people are like, Jared Jack, you got to be careful, right? And then like there's like still 3 minutes to go, and you just saw like him go on tilt, and like Anthony Davis got a rebound, like totally free and clear, like, and he just totally just started swiping at his arm, and boom. And within like 5 seconds, the crowd saying, waving bye-bye, and he's off the field. I'm like, no, you suck, right? Well, that's why I guess he's 7,200 or whatever, and not 9,000, I suppose.
Right. The frustrating parts are when like Jaw sits and Bain sits, and like he's projected to go like 7x, and he puts up like the same 35 fantasy points that he does.
Just terrible.
He's rough. You need to get the things on your side if you're playing him. You got to get the blocks and all that stuff.
He had Luka. He had 94 fantasy points yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the big.
And Anthony Davis had like 48 at the half.
Yeah, he still ended up pretty good, right? Like around.
He did fine. He got hurt for a while. But he went to the locker room and came back.
Yeah. He's toughed it out. He's played more games than almost anybody in the last couple of years.
All right, we may as well get going because we got to do the football too, right?
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into it. Do you want me to pull up my screen?
I'll share my screen. It's fine.
Okay. Cool.
Meanwhile, it's bad enough to lose, but now I have State Kings. I haven't even put my freaking results up there yet. I reported them yesterday.
I know. I've had the same thing happen with them.
I still haven't reported them. I mean, like it's bad enough I have to keep looking at it. And just throw it up there already. Just pull the Band-Aid off. Right? Let's see. All right. The other thing I did, I'm wasting time with you. The other thing I did was I did like these ideas of doing like shorts, like short videos and stuff. Like I've been seeing some of those online a little bit more. So I did like a 3-minute like hockey video today, just to do it. Again, like when I do like 30 more of them, I'll go back to this one. Remember how bad this one was, So you got to start somewhere, right? So I put like a 33-minute like hockey video up. Just want to see what people's thoughts were on it. Yeah,
that's cool. I want to start doing a little bit more of that. We talked about it's harder with NBA sometimes with like the 5-and-5 things like that I was trying to do before because it's just there's so much variance and stuff like that. And by the time people are seeing the video, the news may not have anything to do with that. That's why I want to remind everybody when we do these videos that it is a first look and things are going to change before we go live.
And if we get like a producer that can put some music over it and make us some graphics or something, it'd be kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a company meeting call today. I'm going to talk to Brandon a little bit about that kind of thing.
All right, Philly Charlotte.
Yeah, Philly Charlotte. Go ahead. You want to start it off?
Yeah, I mean, I got a projection on Drummond, 5,500, like for 30 or something. It's not terrible. There's obviously there's better value though at that position, but he looks, I guess, okay. Charlotte Miles Bridges, 6,100. He's, I guess, my favorite from over there. I didn't run anything yet, so I'm not sure what I'd be getting of them, but those are, I guess, my top 2 plays from the game.
Yeah, I think that Drummond makes some sense. I want to force in some Yabusele. He's not going to project well, and this, trying to find things to do different on this slate. He's something that I think I could do a little bit different. I don't think people are going to play him, and it could, we've seen him have the occasional big game when with no Embiid. It's certainly not a lock. He's got a wide range of outcomes, but I do think there's enough upside there to chase that. So I'm probably going to have at least 10% of the Yabusele, who I think is probably going to be like 1% owned. And Maxey, Paul George, I think are totally reasonable, but not as not as obvious or desirable a play as a guy like RJ Barrett, but certainly are in the mix for me. And then Miles Bridges is the main one for the Charlotte side. If you wanted to get frisky and take a shot with Brandon Miller, I don't mind it, but as of right now, Miles Bridges is the only one that showing up for me for Charlotte. All right, the Miami and Detroit.
I have Drew Smith from Miami at 3,800 with a good projection and pretty healthy ownership projection as well. In addition, on the other hand, I have Bam, super solid as usual at center, 8,200. Duncan Robinson, I guess, would be my next guy. And then on Detroit, not much. I guess Cunningham would obviously be my favorite, but really not much from that side. What do you like here?
Yeah, I like Tyler Hero as the main middling play and Bam. I think they're both solid. I don't mind the Drew Smith for value. Again, we might get other value later on that might seem more appealing. But maybe this is a slate where we could think about some sort of fringiness. You get the right side of the Kevin Love minutes. Again, it's a big slate, but there's not that many things you can do that are that clearly off the board that I think are interesting. And the one I'm going to go back to is more than that one is the Terry Rozier. I think is reasonable to take a stab at. Like, it's a wide range of outcomes, but I think there's enough upside in this matchup for him. So I will also force in some Terry Rozier. On the Detroit side, there's really nothing that mainly stands out, but except for there's a few things that stand out. Excuse me. The Fontecchio. Did you get to him? I know you've got him lower projection wise than SaberSim does. I think that I think it's worth taking a stab here with Fontecchio, but I'm right. Because of SaberSim's projection, I'm currently have 77% of them. I think I'm going to end up with like 20. I don't think it's really going to be 77. I think this projection is a little ambitious, but certainly Fontecchio, Ron Holland are the ones that I think are the most interesting from Detroit. Again, small slate. If you want to take a shot with Tim Hardaway Jr., that's fine, but not what I'm going out of my way to do. Mostly it's Fontecchio and Holland for value.
Are any new guys out or anything?
Since when? Not since the day started, as far as I can tell. Let me just double check that myself.
I'm trying to think why Fontecchio would be such a play that would stand out.
Well, they're missing other bodies anyway. It's God, I can't think of who it is right now off the top of my head for some reason. Let me grab my notes here real quick. Tobias Harris, that's the main one.
Right.
So the thought is that Azar Thompson or Fontecchio could step into those minutes. I don't think we know for sure who they'll start, but I've got Azar presumed to start right now, and I'm just wondering why Azar Thompson's number is so much lower than Fontecchio's. Maybe that's something that I could talk myself into doing as a pivot if Fontecchio does get really popular.
Okay.
All right. Cleveland and Brooklyn.
Cleveland, Brooklyn. Am I supposed to have anything from this side? Let's see. I'm not really seeing anything. Ben Simmons, I guess. 5,500. What else in this game? I think the whole game is sort of a pass, no?
Feels that way to me. Don't really have anything on Cleveland that stands out. If you want to take a shot with Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, that's certainly fine. It's a good enough matchup. I just think there's other players in the price range that I like a little bit better. And I did get to a decent amount of the Ben Simmons. The minutes are weird because he just doesn't play that many. And right now they're projecting to play 31 minutes. Has Ben Simmons played more than 27 this season? I don't think so. That seems very ambitious. So maybe that projection should come down a little bit. I don't buy that he should be a median projected for 31 minutes when he hasn't played that the entire season. But yeah, Ben Simmons, I don't mind Day'Ron Sharpe as another value, another guy you could consider for value. And that's basically it for me with this game. This is not a very interesting one from what I see. And then we get to the game that I'd like to try and find a way to stack it, but I'm having trouble finding the Bulls to do it. So what do you think about this one?
Well, okay. So first of all, from the Toronto side, the three guys I have as the top plays, well, three of the top plays on the slate, to be honest, is Magbo, who is conveniently power forward eligible.
Yeah. And
then interestingly, Podol, at 7,300, who you put in the center spot if you felt like it, and Barrett. 9,100 seems like an awful lot. Wait a minute, but he's still showing up as a decent enough value here. Wow, that's crazy. But all three of those guys I have very strong relative to the rest of the field. And then I guess the only thing I would say is if in fact Levine is out, but he's never out. Okay, but they still have him as questionable. If he is out, then maybe you could take a shot on Giddey or White or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, like you said, they're all pretty healthy. Vucevic just, he was just out that one game for sickness or something like that. So sure he's going to be back. So it's a tough one to stack, but I wouldn't play Chicago guys unless like Levine were out. In which case, then you could play the guys I mentioned.
Yeah, the one guy I'm interested in on Chicago, even if Levine play, I actually don't mind Kobe White either way, or I think you could always make a case for these guys. But the one who I'm most interested in is probably Lonzo. I know they're only playing the 20 minutes or so right now, but yeah, that's good enough. He's got enough, upside to get to 30 in 20 minutes. So I think Lonzo is still in play either way. And it's a great matchup. So I could see Lonzo getting 30 fantasy points in limited time. And it's really hard to not want to play both Podol and Barrett for me. Barrett, like my first runs, I have 93% Barrett right now. I'm not sure I'm going to end up with that, but you do, no Scotty Barnes, obviously, nut matchup. I do think Magbo, for value also. But if you want to play Grady Dick, like he's, scoring reliant, but at the same time, he's got enough upside and should get enough shots. So really hard not to have at least two or three from Toronto. And unlike some of the other slates where you're just stacking up value, I actually think you're playing the expensive guys here. Those being Barrett and Podol then Podol as my two favorites. And look, if you wanted to go a different way with the value, it's not the most fun roster. He doesn't. You know what? I don't think I want to play Agbaji, but I did want to throw him out it's the kind of matchup where I could see him getting there, so I wanted to at least consider it. But yeah, hard not to have at least a minimum two from Toronto for me on this slate.
What about the Magbo?
I like Mag. I have him. I have right. My first builds, I got him with the field at 40, around 35, 40%. I got 40% right now. And it's I think it's fine value, and he's probably not going to crush, but he's probably going to get 20 some odd in the middle, and feels like a safe enough guy to take a shot on. All right, Denver in Sacramento.
Yes, pricing's rough. Pricing's rough. Malik Monk 6,800. That's expensive. And then Sabonis 97. Even Fox 87. Now, this is not. This is no bargain. Jokic is obviously playable every day. He's got 100-point upside every day, right?
Yep.
And kind of like a ridiculous median projection as usual. I mean, 63. I mean, that's like.
Yeah, he did have the worst game I remember him ever having, literally ever. His last game out, he only had 30 fantasy points, which is shocking that he played 29 minutes and have 30 fantasy points because he's like a double fantasy point per minute guy at least. I think that he's going to be a little bit under-owned, and I think there's enough value to speculate where you can get him in. So I'd like to be overweight, whatever his exposure is, whatever we think he's going to be. I think it's probably going to be around somewhere in the 20% owned range. But I definitely like the idea of getting to Jokic and going out of my way to do so. on this slate. I think he's gonna, I think we're gonna be back in the mid 70s again tonight in a good matchup, especially if assuming the game is close. And like you said, it's hard with these prices on Sacramento to love anything. Sabonis is one of the most consistent guys in basketball. That's okay. I think the one I like the best is probably De'Aaron Fox, but I don't think you have to run anything back. I think it's really mostly Jokic for me in this game. And for what it's worth, I will load some bets later today, but I definitely like the under in this. It's a 237.5 total, and I think this game is going to hit the under. That's my take. Utah in LA.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think you just got to keep playing Kevin Porter Jr. at this price. He seems, what is it, three games in a row. He's just still way too cheap. And he's the guy I'm actually getting the most of when I run my stuff. Actually, when I just ran it just now, not surprised. I mean, Pirtle, Mogbo, and Kevin Porter Jr., like those three, like over 70. And also Drew Smith and Barrett, whatever. I don't have a Fontecchio projection really like you do, so I don't really get any of him.
Yeah.
But the Kevin Porter Jr. is just too cheap for the minutes he's been playing, I think, with upside. So.
Yeah, I'm with you on Kevin Porter Jr., but I'll throw in one, and here's another one that SaberSim has gone way over the rest of the industry's projection on, and maybe it'll thin out by later, but I don't mind at all. I mean, we've been getting minutes from Bones Highland. If he's playing more than 20 minutes, I'm always going to play him at 3,500. And he's played over 20 minutes in 3 straight games. So I don't think you have to decide he or Porter, because I also think there's blowout run that he could potentially get. But Bones Highland is a guy who can put up a huge number. I have 50% of him. He's projected to be 1% owned right now. I would definitely take some shots with Bones Highland, as well as the more chalky Kevin Porter Jr. And that's mostly, I don't mind Zubac or Harden, but I'm not trying to go out of my way to get to them either. It's a good matchup. It's just
so just a little color. We don't really talk about basketball too much, but a little color on the Bones Highland thing. I literally didn't even know where he was playing until you just mentioned him, and I see that the last 3 games he's gotten minutes. He's like in the rotation. I guess that's because what's his name? Powell's been out, right?
Yeah. Powell's in.
So why all of a sudden has he been?
It's let me just grab my player sheet real quick. It's
Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann and Derek Jones are both gone. And
Harden hadn't missed.
Jordan Miller was getting more of that run, and it seems to have gone over to Bones Highland. Actually, Jordan Miller's been playing some minutes too, but Bones Highland is he just has that upside. He's gonna chuck, and that's why I like playing him.
Well, yeah, Harden was out for like a few games in the middle there too. The thing I wanted to bring up was back when he was on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Whenever he got in there, he looked, he was doing his thing. And then during like contract negotiations or whatever, they had to trade him, and it's so funny the way they put it. They said, we already have someone like really selfish, Michael Porter Jr. We can't keep 2 of you. Like, basically, that's what they said. And it's like such a kind of a weird compliment to Michael Porter Jr. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're going to re-sign you and pay you because you could be our designated selfish player. It's like kind of crazy. In any case, we like selfish players for DFS. So if you're going to give me a 2 handle on his minutes at his price, like you said, I mean, he could get 40. You know what I mean? Like, he just could.
Yeah.
So I really like that, and I kind of hope that the rest of the industry's projection remains low. I don't know if that's possible, though. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if that's possible. I mean, I think people are going to look, even just click on the game log, and they'll see 28 minutes, 2 games, you have 35 fantasy points, is 3,500. I want it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wonder if he.
And to be fair, in those games, he did have the shooting, like he was on fire from 3.
Well, and there was no Harden.
Well, Harden played in which one? He
didn't play the 8th.
He played in 2 of them, though, I believe. Yeah, he played in 2 of them.
You look at Harden. Harden was out. He played the 4th and the 13th.
Yeah, he didn't play the 8th game. That's right. So it's 2 out of the 3 though. He's still right there even with Harden. Right.
So he played 23 and 21 minutes with Harden.
And this is a particularly good matchup that also has some blowout potential. So I think it's actually pretty interesting.
For which side? Who's the favorite this game?
Clippers.
Okay.
Jazz are terrible.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's I like that a lot actually. I don't think I played both Highland and Porter.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a good pivot though. Like if you're sitting there with a line, remember it's 10:30, right?
Yeah.
It's 10:30. Bones Highland is 3,500. Kevin Porter Jr. is what? He's 4,400. I think that's actually I would do that. Leave 1,100 if I felt like it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I know. If you're, I mean, Bones Highland has the upside to get there if he was 5K. Like he's just the way he plays, you know.
Well, the price is I don't think the price is going to matter too much.
Yeah. And I would say that if we do think Bones Highland by the end of the day is going to be popular, that you could also pivot and take a shot on Jordan Miller instead. Because Jordan Miller has sort of fluctuated like with his minutes and stuff, but that run seems to be pretty fluid, and we don't really know who's going to get it game to game. But it's a nice little slate. I'm looking at my exposures right now. Again, because I've got the crazy Fontecchio projection, I've got the most of Fontecchio of anybody, but I'm very, very happy to rerun this later and check out. But I've got a ton of Bones Highland. Like I've got 60% of them now, and when I just reran it, and 45% Jokic, 60% Podol, 60% Barrett, 40% Mogbo, 40% Bam, 35% Hero. And then 35% Kevin Porter Jr. So seems like I'm getting either Porter Jr. or Highland because their ownership equals exactly 100. So it looks like my lineups are all one of those guys.
And Miles Bridges, I'm getting some of him too. Is he back to full minutes?
I don't believe it's full, but he's still too cheap, probably. And LaMelo is still questionable, so that's probably something we should know later today. He played 24 minutes. He put up 33 fantasy points, had a 28% usage rate. You could argue with LaMelo coming back. Maybe if we really think he's going to play only around, under 28 minutes, I think maybe you could talk about fading it. But as of right now, I currently have him like with the field at like 20%. And I would like to get to I think that Paul George, I sort of moved past it quickly, but I think both Paul George and the Maxey are both interesting to me. So
Paul George
and Maxey, I think are both solid enough in this matchup. Charlotte's been playing a little bit different. This is, they're not the Sixers play slow, but they play faster without Embiid, and Charlotte hasn't played as fast this year as they have in years past. Let me just check Mark Williams real quick, because Mark Williams, if they give him minutes, they haven't let him play more than 17 minutes in a game, but once he starts playing, I'll tell you what, he's gonna. I mean, he can put up a lot in a hurry. He just put up 31 in the last game, so I don't know I don't think it's going to be tonight, unfortunately, but I do think keep an eye out for Mark Williams going forward. Once we hear about his minutes being freed up, or if we hear anything later today, I'll keep an eye out and say, okay, well then we should play Mark Williams.
Real quick, did you look at FanDuel at all?
I didn't look at FanDuel for NBA because I wasn't going to play it today, but I did a quick look, but I didn't build anything.
Yeah, here's the difference, just to be on the lookout for, is I'm getting about 86% Grady Dick on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's 5,200. It makes some sense.
Yeah, and like 0 on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then another guy, this is just, again, to be on the lookout for, is I'm getting more Jimmy Butler over there for some reason.
Huh. Yeah. Let me just check the Butler thing. Why is that happening?
Not that much, but still.
Yeah. So I guess it fits in price wise or something. But I personally like Hero a little bit better than Butler tonight, and they're similar price.
Were you talking about? Were you saying that they might be trading him?
There's been a lot of talk about it. He came out as they had a list of teams that he would be willing to go to.
Oh, that's right. That's when I asked about the no trade clause and stuff.
Yeah, and he has a player option for next year at $52 million. So I think that's sort of like what's keeping people a little bit nervous about it. Anyway, all right, we'll be live later. I guess we'll go. So what do you think? Sheet six live for NBA and 6:30 for NFL.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I guess so.
What works best for you?
I don't know. I think that. I was thinking more like 7 for the NBA. So for the
NFL
football, but no, hold on. I don't know. Whatever you think. I guess we should do 6 for NBA though.
Yeah, 6 for NBA and then 7 for NFL is fine with me.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense.
All right, cool. And I think I'm gonna talk to Brandon and see if he can join us for the NFL stuff too.
Okay.
All right, bud. All right. Good luck, everybody, and we'll see you this evening at